Okay, so in this video, I want to quickly talk about a common issue that some students run into early on. And to explain it, first, we need to understand that when we have a Git repo, we initialize a Git repo, that's in one directory, right? In our case, it was the My First Novel directory. But Git is going to watch everything that happens in this directory, including anything nested further down as, child or grandchild directories and so on. So I could just quickly make some dummy folders. I'm going to delete these, so you do not need to follow along if you are. I'm just going to call this, let's say I'm working on the book. Here's the intro to the book. I'll cd into the intro, and then I'll make another folder in here. How about draft 1? Okay, so I'm 2 folders in, 2 levels deep, but I can still type git status. Whoops, apparently not. If I type it correctly, and I still get feedback that says, yes, you are in a Git repo. So it's not just this folder, My First Novel. It's everything nested in that folder. So it's top down. And that's important to understand for a couple of reasons. One, any files and folders and changes I do in this directory for this one project are tracked by Git if I initialize the repo like I did. But 2, it's important to understand we do not want to be initializing another repo inside of an existing repo. I made a warning sign to make this clear. We want to keep our repositories separate, and you don't want to run git init inside of an existing repository. It's not the end of the world, but at some point things will go wrong. Git will get confused because it's tracking everything happening in a folder, and if one of those folders has Git also initialized, then it's Git tracking Git, and it just gets confused. So we want to avoid that, and the easiest thing to do is just make sure when you run git init, make sure you're not in a repository. And that's why I showed you to use git status first. So if I wanted to make a new repository, I'm writing a new novel, I want to have a separate history, I would try running git status. Oh, I'm in a repo. That should tell me, don't initialize a new repo in here. You're already in a repo. Go somewhere else. So let's back out a couple levels. Let's keep going. So I've backed out, and now I could make another directory, book 2. Go into that directory. Just show it over here. Here it is. And type git status, not a Git repository. Now I can initialize. All right, so you just want to be careful of that. If you do happen to initialize a repo inside of an existing repo, I showed you how to remove that repository by getting rid of the corresponding .git folder. All right, so it's not the end of the world. It won't give you an error message, but you want to be careful. And in general, my rule is make a folder for a project and then initialize Git in that folder. So you don't want to have a Git repo on your desktop or your documents folder or on your entire machine that's tracking everything. You could, but most people prefer to have one repo per project. So always run git status, make sure you're not in a repo before you initialize, and if you do happen to end up with nested repos, you can sort it out by deleting one of the .git folders. Okay?